Hey, what's up, everybody? So I want to talk about Chadwick Bozeman because his situation is so very inspiring and just filled with a whole lot of, for me, like hope. Maybe not the word hope. It's something. It's an inspirational vibe that I'm receiving from his story. Obviously, for those who don't know, Chadwick Bozeman was the Black Panther. That's his most famous role. He also played Jackie Robinson. He also played in The Five Bloods. Spike Lee joint. That's pretty cool. I saw that movie. It was really interesting. And also he did James Brown, which I thought he did a fantastic job in as well, many years ago. And he just recently passed away, man, of cancer. Fuck cancer, by the way. Pancreatic cancer that he had for about 4 years, and no one knew. No one knew. He did many movies over the last 4 years, including The Five Bloods, for which he was sick, and Spike Lee said himself he didn't know at all. This gentleman was someone who was fighting the good fight in regards to human rights activism of the modern times. He was very much vocal in his positioning and was well received by a lot of people. And he just did he put out like a lot of good energy. You know, I watched him on Instagram a couple times. I remember seeing a video of him on Instagram several months ago, and he did look very ill. But for some reason, and I believe it was the divine protecting his secret, for some reason it didn't cross my mind that he was ill with cancer, despite having a lot of experience with cancer. Unfortunately, having lost my mother and grandmother and my auntie to cancer. And my father had it as well, even though it wasn't what ultimately took him out of here. But like, I know what it looks like. I've dealt with it closely, and when I saw Chadwick look ill, for whatever reason, my mind didn't go there. And it's inexplicable to me personally how that ultimately was. Because he looked very ill. He looked sick, but my mind went, he's doing a role. I was thinking that maybe he was doing what 50 Cent had done about 5-6 years ago, lost a enormous amount of weight for a role where he was going to play someone who was ill. I figured, hey, actors do this kind of thing. I've seen it before. Or maybe he has some type of eating disorder. Like, my mind went to other things that were less obvious than what it was. And I think a lot of people did as well when they saw the video. Because when I saw the video, I looked in the comment section, and it was a lot of people making fun of how he looked. And where my mind went was everywhere but sickness. And I can't explain it to any of you for the life of me why I saw him and didn't think that. But this guy was doing all kinds of stuff, hanging out. They have pictures of him going to different hospitals with children who were also ill with cancer. The good guy was doing all kinds of stuff for the NBA as well. You saw him posted up with a lot of NBA players. The NBA honored him very recently as well in his passing. And it's just one of those deaths that really hit us so hard, because you are so inspired by the fact that this man did so much while no one knew he was sick. And he took all that criticism for when he had lost weight. He absorbed it. It was so bad that he ended up, from what I understand, deleting the video that I did see. I saw a clip this morning that reminded me of the video, which is why I'm aware of this. But he ended up deleting it because people were getting on his case so bad about how he looked. And it just made me feel like I was a part of that, even though I didn't make fun of him at all or think those thoughts. For some reason, I felt like I took on the guilt of being one of those trolls as well, which is inexplicable to me. But like, it just goes to show you never know what someone is going through. Sometimes people are suffering in silence and are trying to be as unselfish as possible by bringing forth no angst to their loved ones and fans, bringing forth no pity for themselves, just trying to be a servant to others. I don't doubt that Chadwick Bozeman battled his own struggles in this world. He probably battled his own demons, I'm sure, as all of us do to some degree. But sometimes people are able to display a sense of humanity and a sense of courage that you only hope to see in yourself someday, that you only hope that you could have the type of character that they displayed. And that's exactly what Chadwick Bozeman displayed to me, and to so very many. He touched so many hearts, and all the kids of this generation love him because of Black Panther alone. It's one of the greatest grossing movies in the history of movies, period. And it came in a time when I think we were ready to see a black superhero. So a lot of black people were very, 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 very crushed deeply as well from his passing, just because of the representation that his character provided um, for our children and for ourselves. To see a black superhero that's, you know, holding himself in such a way that doesn't necessarily give off stereotypical vibes or what have you, and really just allowed people to be proud of themselves, and allowed people of all different colors, shapes, and sizes, and different creeds and etc. to all rally around this individual, celebrating not only his heritage as a black person, but also his heroism as a character, and what he was able to, what the character was all about. So he's one of the most more famous actors of this generation because of that role, and it's just very, very out of the blue. No one knew, no one knew. And in my mind, you can come to all different kind of conclusions for why he didn't want people to know. But in my mind, I live with the idea that he just didn't want to have people feel sorry for him. And I feel like that was okay, and I think that was admirable, because a lot of times when you're sick, you may be ill, but you start to feel ill when people start to know. And everywhere you go, people are saying they're sorry, telling you to be strong, asking you if there's anything special they can do for you. That kind of stuff can make you feel sick, as opposed to no one knowing, and you live with it yourself, and you can almost live your day without it. Obviously, you gotta address it when it's time to go to treatments, but you don't have to deal with the pity. You don't have to deal with people telling you what you can't do, treating you like you can't do it. And I just understand that. I don't pretend to know that that was his exact point of view, but I think it's a lot of people's point of view when they're ill with anything like that. And I also felt, to a degree, just from my own personal perspective, looking out toward him, I felt like he didn't want others to feel like they had to be forthcoming with their truth about their sickness. For those who wanted to continue to do life without that energy, I think he withheld his truth for them, in a way, to let them know that it's okay to do it this way. You know what I mean? That you don't owe us your diagnosis. You don't owe us the ability to say goodbye to you. You don't owe us the ability to feel bad or feel sorry for you. That you can live your life and you can fight this thing on your own terms. There's no one way to do it. And that's one of the things that I took from Chadwick's story. That it's okay to do it his way. And it can be inspiring that way. And I know he's not the only one to do it. I know there are many people out there who are fighting battles that we know nothing about, whether it be physical ailments or other types of things. And they continue to push forward in unselfishness, selflessness, and just continue their very best to show others a good example of how to be a certain way, and how to live your life with that. And I tell you, man, he accomplished more ill than I probably have well in my 34 years of life, in just the 4 years that he's been sick. And there's no probably about it. To do extraordinary things, play extraordinary characters, and then off the screen, live an extraordinary life where everyone that speaks of him speaks highly of him. He was able to marry his wife, marry the woman of his dreams before he passed away. Just a lot of it's a lot of love in his story. I feel it. I feel a lot of unselfishness, a lot of love, a lot of hope, a lot of you can do it. You know what I mean? For everybody out there who's paying attention, that's what I get from it. You can do it. You can live with this. You can live with this. It may ultimately win the battle, so to speak. But with the time you have, you can accomplish things. You don't have to lay down and be sick and feel sick and think sick. You know. So I definitely want to, first of all, before I move any further, extend condolences to his wife and to his family, loved ones, fans, anybody that loved the man. Just know that his character bled through to a lot of us who didn't know him, who didn't have any communication, obviously, with the man. The energy from which he lived, the way that he lived his life was so powerful that I felt the realness of it all. And I just want everybody who's dealing with that to know that that he won't be forgotten here. That's for sure. And yeah, I just encourage everybody to check out everything he did too. He was an amazing actor. Even though we didn't get a full sample size like we would have wanted to, it's a beautiful story that he was able to do the type of characters that he did. You know, playing Jackie Robinson, that's unbelievable to have on your resume. Playing Black Panther, unbelievable. Playing James Brown, unbelievable. You know, he had amazing characters, and he chose amazing roles, and he knocked them out of the park, just like Jackie Robinson. You know what I mean? Truly, he was amazing in everything he did that I saw. And another thing that also kind of surprised me was finding out how old he was. That told me that he had been paying his dues for a very long time. This was a patient actor. The man was 43 years old when he passed away. Obviously, he didn't look it, but clearly his path had not been a short one to get to where he ultimately became. And it's just a good thing to know that even that part of his story can be inspiring for people like myself who haven't made it, who are already in the second half of our 30s. He showed me that there's hope for me to accomplish whatever it is that I'm going to do. You know, that it's not, I haven't run out of time. Because even though he wasn't given a lot of time on this earth, he waited, he paid his dues, and he got what it was meant for him. He got what it was meant for him. He was able to live his dreams. He was able to impact the world, and he was able to inspire others through his story in a 43-year span, having received that success later on. It's a beautiful story, man. Chadwick is a hero, man, and you know, he not only will he be sorely missed, but he'll definitely be remembered. My name is BDF44, and that'll end this video.